about 8 more of us who worked on this down your house. So that's kind of where we are. There's kind of people lurking around. The other 8.
I want some more.
What we thought we'd do is Jacob and Ellen are going to run you guys through those packets, but beforehand I'm going to kind of talk about some of the bigger ideas that we focused on in design. And so what we really did is we kind of broke the design into 2 different categories. The first category was what you guys wanted in terms of your needs and wants and that kind of stuff. And then the second category was the different opportunities that the site and the weather and the climate all presented to us. So in terms of what we thought you guys would like is we put in a wraparound porch right here. It faces, this is that major canyon view out here. So this is a wraparound porch right there. And then your main kitchen and dining and living area are all in this portion of the house. And they'll pull the roof out later so you can actually see in there. Right? And so what that does is that also faces all those kind of views. So when you're in the kitchen or when you're cleaning dishes and that kind of stuff, you've got that really nice like panoramic canyon view. Another thing that we tried to incorporate was personal kind of work or play spaces for each one of you. So in this portion of the house, we kind of have that area where there's space where you can do your IT work, or you can work on photography and that kind of thing. And those personal spaces are still kind of a work in progress. So we'd love to get your input on where those work best, if you need them separate, together, how big, and that kind of stuff. And then the last 2 things that we focused on in terms of what we thought that you guys would need or want were creating separate bedrooms, which is kind of an obvious thing, but necessary for sure. And then also using the sun and the wind to heat and cool the house in the summertime and the wintertime, which leads me into the second category of things we focused on in design, which is using the different opportunities that the site and the materials that you had on hand presented to us. So what we've done is we took the roof trusses, which we thought were really great, and instead of using them in like a very traditional way, which that sloping roof, what we did is we flipped them upside down, and so that created this roof that allows us to kind of force the wind in the summertime into the house, where it'll kind of pick up all that heat, and then it'll exhaust back out, so kind of like a passive cooling system. And then it also, this kind of shape acts as like a gesture out to that landscape after those like canyon views. Another thing we wanted to use, another opportunity we wanted to take advantage of was the foundation that you already have in place. So the actual like living spaces of the house sit on sort of the back 2/3 of the foundation, and then this wraparound porch sits on that front 1/3. And I think that's it for the opportunities. Oh, and we also, what we did with the living and dining area, since there's a lot of glass and it's really open, we decided to use that as kind of a way to passively heat the house in the wintertime. So all this glass allows the sun to kind of come in there, and it'll hit the floors and the walls, which will be made out of some type of like mass, either concrete or like some earthen material. And in the wintertime, so that sun will come in, hit that material, absorb it, and then it'll heat the house throughout the daytime. And so those are the 2 big categories that we focused on, fulfilling your guys' needs, and then also using the different opportunities that the site presented to us. And what kind of came out of that was a design where we have these 2 kind of separate houses. They've been connected together to make one house. And Ellen and Jacob can tell you a little bit more about that.
Yeah, if you want to look at this drawing, the darkest area would be the bedroom that Will was mentioning. And when we take a look at the model, it's this tiny little box within the larger box. And that would be made of maybe a straw bale or some earthen blocks, like thick wall to really insulate that. And if you guys remember the pottery shed of the home we toured last time we were here, how cool that was in the afternoon.
Yeah.
We found that would be a really comfortable place to sleep. So kind of isolating those from what would be the public area, the kitchen, living area. And on that drawing, it's the library area. And then this kind of in-between gray would be the work work area, the bathroom, the kitchen, and then the entry divides those. And there are different variations of like the layout in this area, and Ellen can speak to that.
We wanted to give you some options and to let you influence us on the design and make sure we're understanding you fully on what you would like. So along with this diagram, it's all color-coded, and so the next sheet in your booklet is this one, and the color coding tells you where on the plan it's located. And in scheme 1, which is this one, if we kind of orientate this with the model, you can kind of look back and forth. Again, this is like the private bedrooms and the living room and the kitchen. It's very open to the use to this side. And in scheme 1, that's what's under this. And we kind of would like you to maybe take some pencils and pens, like eventually, and kind of decide, give us some feedback, input on certain things, like if you would like a tub, or then in scheme 2, which are listed here, you could potentially have a shower versus a tub, but then you lose a workspace. And so there's kind of like pros and cons to all of them, and we just kind of want to understand what you kind of feel. And so we can go through them individually. I don't know if you'd rather go through them on your own. I can kind of point some out. A lot of times there was multiple ways we thought we could lay out the dining room. So again, like that view is disturbed by this vertical member. And then you could put a bench in front of it, so that way the heat actually heats up the bench. And so when you're sitting at your dining room, you can sit on a floor next to you. So those are some of like the different options. And again, like this sheet kind of outlines it. We can kind of go through those and look at the floor plans, and maybe sometime by the end of this again, kind of give us an idea, like maybe circle which ones you like and which ones you're interested in, and therefore you can go back and kind of make sure we have all the details. And then to also give you an idea of what your house would look like on the inside, we have pictures. Those are also standard packages for that. But this just kind of gives you an idea of potentially what your
very much surprising. It was very nice. Just the workspace plus the workspace.
right here.
There's a few chairs right here.
Right.
And then there's a different set of drawing right underneath it. There would be working with a limited amount of space. We switched to the bathtub for a shower and then have a larger workspace. So it's sort of, there's a lot of different floor plan configurations that create space where you need it more.
I guess I can just go down to the pond.
And if you're looking through any of these and have any questions, just let us know. We can point to the proper scheme and answer the questions.
So I think one of the things that, when we met you the first time, we were talking about more about like what your ideal home or ideal situation would be like in terms of size, and I think this is what we're able to do given the time that we have. And so we're also interested in more of a master plan for you guys, and we'd be able to make the drawings and everything that if you wanted to add on later. There's another section of the house that could go right here. And if you were to build that later, it's easy access to get construction materials in, and then this room could potentially become more of an office type of space or den, and then bigger bedroom here, and then a master bedroom with an attached bath on this side, and this corridor would continue, so this workspace could be larger as well. So
By then he'll be out of the house.
I don't know, you might like it so much he'll stay.
Or come back.
So just to let you know, there are